Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of the Throne of Glass video. I really liked doing part 1, and I have been loving Queen of Shadows, and so we're gonna start the vlog in the middle of that. I'm actually currently 72%, but I have some thoughts. I have, like I said, about 200 pages left, but I have some thoughts. I am loving this book. I know I said I didn't like Manon's POV in the first book, in Air of Fire, but I am actually really enjoying it in this one. And then we finally just got the connection between her and Aelin, and so that worked out well. I also am just loving the characters in this one, and I'm with the angsty fae, okay? I think it's fun to read about, so I'm really loving this one. Most of this video is going to be spoilers, so just so you know, I'm going to start talking spoilers. So if you haven't read Throne of Glass, go watch the first video. I think there's a section of my first video that isn't spoilers. Or just go read Throne of Glass. Or if you don't care, just keep watching. I have so many thoughts. I'm trying to put them in order. I really like how the one girl, like Elena or whatever her name is, how she is the daughter of the woman who saved Aelin. I was like, oh, connection, like there we go. And then when the assassin leader died, Arobin, I don't know how to say any of these names, but when he died, like, Slay Queen, Slay to Lysandra. Like, I am going to love Lysandra. I am enjoying Lysandra. And I know it's not gonna last, but I'm liking Rowan and Aelin's romance. I think it's just really good. There was one passage I highlighted, if I can find my highlights, where, well, first of all, the guys fighting, I like that. If you're gonna have a pissing contest, can you at least do it on the roof? Oh, it's really good. And then when Rowan is going off about her nightgown, I was like, this is really good. Rowan had a quote in chapter 56. It was foolish to even start down this road when every other man she'd let in had left some kind of wound in one way or another, accidentally or not. That hurt. Also, Dorian just said, I'll bleed whatever color you'll tell me to. And why does that sound familiar? Maybe another character said it earlier in the book, but it's just, it's hurting me. We finally connected the storylines, and then Lysandra got kidnapped, and I'm just so worried about the end of this book. I'm just so worried all the characters are gonna die. I know next is the tandem read, and I was able to snag a copy of the book that is like the tandem read version, which I'm actually very excited about because I have a senior trip next week, and I did not want to bring both books with me, so I'm glad I have the ebook of the books combined. But anyway, I'm 72% of the way through, and we're gonna continue. I will let you know if I have any reactions. I'm also filming a 24-hour readathon right now, so it might go back and forth, but you will see if I have any reactions. If Rowan is not okay, I am going to throw hands. I liked him. I like him. I don't want him to die. chapter I'm on, but the Rowan and Aelin are talking. And it's like, what do you want me to tell you, Fireheart? She studied their joined hands and the gold ring encircling her thumb. He squeezed her finger gently. When she lifted her head, her eyes were blazing bright. Tell me that we're going to get through tomorrow. Tell me that we'll survive the war. Tell me that if it all leads to ruin, we'll burn together. We're not going to burn, Aelin, he said, but wherever we go, we'll go together. Just once. I want to kiss you just once. Oh, this is so good. Ah! This is kind of funny, but we're near the end of the book, and Aelin just gave Lysandra a ring and, like, land, and Lysandra's like, what is the land called? I have no idea. Lysandria sounds good. So does Lysandris, or maybe Lysandraland. Like, it... Stop, because when I was a child, my friends and I used to rename parts of the United States based on our name. That's so funny. Okay, I'm at 97%. I have like 20 pages left. I will check in when I finish. Okay, it's done. 700-page book is done. I just dropped my Kindle. Okay, I'm still between what to rate it. I'm between a 4 and a 5. It's somewhere in that range. Right now my heart says a 4.5, but it might be a 5-star. I'm so stuck. I'm trying to think of anything I really disliked about the book. I think it was a little bit long. I think definitely parts could have been cut. I feel like the ending definitely dragged on a little bit. I felt like it could have been ended a little bit earlier. I felt like the characters were really good though. I really enjoyed this one. It's gonna be rated highly. I just don't know how highly yet. Now I'm gonna take a break before tandem reading. And I don't know how much of tandem reading in Kingdom Ash I will record. It depends whether I read them this week before I leave or whether I read them like during my trip or after my trip. But for now, Queen of Shadows is done and I have 3 books to go. So I will see you whenever I end up doing that. Hi guys, I have no idea where we left off in the last Soda Glass clips because I kind of took off filming for a month and it took me a long time to finish the series. But I remember that we were talking about the last 4 books. So I know I filmed my reading of Queen of Shadows and discussed this book already. This, I think, has moved up to a 5 stars. Since I read it, I just was absolutely intrigued by this book. I love this book with all my heart, so this was definitely 5 stars. And I have since finished the series. Now, I have no recordings of my reaction because, unfortunately, I had not been in the best mental state, and I've also been physically sick. I have a sinus infection. Which you can kind of tell in my voice. I've been very sick. So I did not want to record my reaction because I basically lived in leggings and oversized sweatshirts, and personally I don't want to record in that. So, yeah, but I did finish these, and I will tell you all my spoilery thoughts. So, Tower of Dawn and Empire Storms is a tangent read. And I have a version on my Kindle that is the 2 books combined, so it literally goes in the correct reading order from chapter to chapter. And so it did make it a little bit hard to discern whose was whose, but I did mostly understand. We're first going to talk about Tower of Dawn, and then we'll move on to Empire Storms. Everyone hates on this book, but I loved this book. Like, it was not a 5 stars, it was 4 stars. But I literally love these characters. Like, I never disliked Kale. I know a lot of people did, but I was kind of just like, oh, I like him. Like, he's still a good character. I never was, like, angry at him. But I loved his romance with Yrene. In a serious perspective, I didn't love as much. I think it was good. Nesrin.
I've been saying that wrong. Nesserin's perspective was not my favorite ever, but I did enjoy her little subquest. I think it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed like the mystery element of this, like the monster that was chasing Urine. I really enjoyed how you got to see Kale just like grow as a character, and how he wasn't as like, he learned to like be humble, and he learned to teach these girls, the girls that Urine taught, and I just love Urine. And like the moment you found out that Aelin was the one who gave her the note, and inspired her to go to the Tory in the first place, was just so cool. So I really loved all these characters. I loved how you saw the slow progress. I felt like this book moved at the perfect speed. It was never too fast or too slow. And I could tell this book was necessary. I really did enjoy this book. I know a lot of people hate on it, but I had a great time reading this. And then Empire of Storms. I don't know, Aelin was kind of back and forth with me in this book. I still love her so much as a character, but I think there was a lot of this book where we were getting everyone else's perspective and not her as much, and so I feel like it was harder to focus on her. I really liked Elise, Lorcan's friend. Elide. Her name was Elide. I was right the first time. I really liked Elide and Lorcan's like little subplot of romance, and like how they went against each other at first and then were like besties. I really enjoyed that. And then Aedion, I grew to like, I mean, he was just okay. I think he's just okay. But I grew to love Rowan in this book as well. And then Maiden. Like, I remember reading Air of Fire and just be like, what in the heck? Why are we focusing on the Switch? Why does it matter? Who cares? And then you get to this book, and I love Manon. I talked to my friend about this series, and she was like, I kind of liked Manon and Dorian's love story. I really enjoyed it. And I agree, because it's this unlikely love story, and I thought it was quite beautiful. And you really just grow to love Manon, and like her 13, and everything that goes along with that. So I really did enjoy this book. And then you get to the ending, and I wish I had recorded my reaction when I read Rowan's "Where's my wife" line. Like, I have read that trope probably before. I don't remember when, but I have definitely read that trope before, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you said what? You said what? I was just like, like I was in pain. I was in pain. And then like the whole thing with Aelin, I sobbed my way through the end of this book. And then the next day, I literally told everyone in my family about it. I ranted to my friend. I ranted to my parents. And they all were like, I don't care. And I'm like, I care. I care. So this was a 4.5. I enjoyed both these books. I think the series, just fantastic. Just a really fantastic series. And that's most of all I have to say about it. And then we move on to Kingdom of Ash. This book, thick. Like, thick. This is thick. I read it on the Kindle. I'm sorry that I'm weak. You know, I couldn't bring this book everywhere with me. And I did try to, like, pick up and read parts of it on my Kindle. Or on, like, physically. But it's just so hard to read. Like, I don't understand how people read this copy. It's hard to read. So, this book is following, like, 14 perspectives. Let's count. Aelin, Rowan, Dorian, Manon, Aedion, Lysandra, Kale, Yrene, Nysaria, whatever that prince is, Elide, Lorcan. Who am I forgetting? I did Lysandra and Aedion, didn't I? At least 12. Maybe 14. I might have forgotten people. So my apologies. But it's following like 12 to 14 perspectives, and I got so lost. Like, don't get me wrong. I adore this book. But I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, she's doing so much here. Sarah J. Maas doing the utmost here. But I still enjoyed this book. This was a 5 stars. It was just the way that everything concluded. I kind of knew Aelin was going to lose her powers. And I think it wasn't terrible. I really liked the way that they did it in this book, actually, believe it or not. And I thought that was really interesting. I loved Lorcan and Elide's story when, like, she goes to rescue him. I was like, I am all here for this. And then Manon's redemption story. And then when the 13 died, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. That's not okay. That's not okay. And I literally was like, Rowan's gonna die. Like, the entire book. And I was just so... Can we talk about the scene where Rowan rescues her and Aelin is just screaming for him to get it off? Because I was in pain. Like, it was not okay for her to write that. Not okay. Not acceptable. It was actually quite wrong because I was not doing well emotionally during that time. So that was not my favorite. Not my favorite at all, but I did read it. And I really, really love this book. I really love the conclusion. I really loved how everything turned out. I thought it was so good. I thought it was so good. I think the series, absolutely fantastic. The way she just builds everything up and you just get so attached to all the characters. Like, I could have just sobbed. And then when Irene was like, I took the money you gave me and went to the Tory, like, I'm sorry. The Assassin's Blade mentions are just gonna get me. They're just gonna get me. Because that book, everyone is like, oh, it's not that important. It is. It actually is. It leads up to a lot of the series, so that actually is quite important. So I really enjoyed this book. I really, really did. I thought it was really good. I am so glad I read the series. I think it's a 5-star series overall for me. And I'm excited to reread it because I think I will like the earlier books a lot more now that I understand everything. And I'm so excited to see Selena/Aylin's growth as a character and just everything that happens with her. I'm just so excited to see it. But right now, I have a lot of other books to get to. Don't know if I'm going to film an ACOTAR vlog because I'm going to try to read that at camp where I'm not going to have a camera. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that my reactions weren't in here. I promise I did have reactions to the series. Like I said, just not been in the best mental and physical state. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Let me know what you think about the series, whether you loved it, whether you hated it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!